Hi, this is Jack Downs. I'm here with a little video about the voice over music or sound donut exercise. Um, and the way this begins is you look at the instructions and you make your folders as usual. You've got to have your original PSA file, your PSA, not mine, the one that you recorded. Ideally, if it was like really small, maybe you go fix it up some more. Ideally, you have the WAV file that you created. Remember, I asked you to save an extra WAV file out. Yeah, if you don't have it and can't find it or something, you could use the MP3. I probably won't notice, but do realize the idea is we edit WAV files. So, and you have to go get a piece of sound. You're going to imagine a piece of music, instrumental music, that would sound good with your piece. It will probably be something very smooth. It can't get in the way. Imagine it being on in the background. But ideally, it would carry through the mood of your message. And that's a lot to ask for. And it's very subjective. And you only have certain tracks to deal with. Realize you're not going to be able to go get your favorite recording artists' stuff that they have out there and use that because you don't have permission. No, that would violate copyright. So instead, what are you going to do? You're going to go to the CD that we used, and you can go into the audio files and into the song files, and there you'll see 16 instrumental pieces, and you can listen through them and find one that you like. I have put them in my originals folder. I actually grabbed 2 of them, and I decided I'm going to use number 7, and then I've got my PSA right there also. And then I've opened them both up here in Audacity. It doesn't really matter which is on top and which is below. The thing about audio is it all plays at the same time. All the tracks, whether one's on top or one's below, as opposed to video. And what would happen if I just played this? Well,
Be a man, see the doctor. Dead men are good for life.
It's a big mess, right? Okay. So what am I going to do? My goal is I would like to have this sound come up full volume for about a second and go back down again to a very small volume so I can easily hear my words. And then at the end, I need to kind of have the sound swell up again and then go down to nothing. So we're going to imagine a shape of this waveform. It's going to go up, down, very small, up, down. Okay, well, you kind of know how you could make this waveform a lot bigger or smaller. How do you change it over time like that? And besides the fact it's like way too long also. See, this is my voice, obviously, and the song file is way much too long. Well, this is what we're going to do. First, I suggest you take the time shift tool and move your voice down a little bit because we're going to deal with this part of the song file. And I'm going to kind of select in there a little bit and zoom in. Oops, there. Okay. So I can see where we are. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. I want to be able to see the seconds. I'm actually going to delete just a tiny bit more of that tip there. So I'm imagining sound that's going to come up here is going to take about a second or a second and a half to come up. It's going to be a certain level for a second or a second and a half. Then it's going to get a second or a second and a half to go back down again. So it's going to be this area right here. And now we're going to use a new tool. This is called the envelope tool, and I'm hovering over it right now. You see up here. It's this strange little like double triangle, but it's got a little blue line that goes through it. Okay. When I click on it, what happens is the active, well, both tracks actually, doesn't matter, but we're dealing with the active track down here, with the one with the yellow or gold border around it. It gets these blue bars on it. And see what happens, my cursor, when it goes inside there at the blue bar down below, it changes to be similar to that. What it's going to do is it's going to put control points around. So I'm going to start clicking. I'm going to click right up on this blue line. I'm going to add some points. Add 1 point, another point, another point. Unavoidably, it's going to move around a little bit when I do, but that's okay. I can grab that point. I'm going to bring it back up to the top where it had been. I'm going to bring this one back up to the top where it had been. But then I need those control points because I'm going to kind of swivel around them. The zap control point is about a second and a half or 2 seconds in. So I'm going to drag this down. See, it's kind of like making a manual fade. It's going to fade up over a second and a half or 2 seconds It's going to stay steady for the same length of time. Then it's going to go back down again about that distance away. Now, how far down is it going to go? Well, I don't know. You're going to have to test it. So now you're going to go back to your time shift tool and bring your voice back here. Notice that we didn't do any fading in or envelope work on the voice, and that doesn't, of course, we don't want to, because we want the voice to be full the entire time. But we're imagining this sound coming up, swelling up and down again, and then going along at a low level. So I'm going to play this. Of course, I'm playing through my speakers, and you're just hearing through my mic. So you're going to use your headphones on your own file, and that's going to be the way you get the true idea of it. So I'll play this.
Be a man, see the doctor. Dead men aren't good providers.
So the idea is, and I'm not sure how well you heard this, but with your own you'll be able to hear it. It swells up, it goes down again in volume, and then we hear the words with the music in the background. Honestly, I'd have to try with my headphones, but I think that music may be a little bit loud still. I want to know it's there, but I want to make sure it's not getting in the way at all. And that is obviously a somewhat subjective thing. It also depends on the size of how much amplitude you have in your waveform, as I have quite a lot, as you see. So you may want to work on your waveform a little bit too. And guess what? At the other end, we're going to do the same thing. To do that, I'm going to have to go back to my envelope tool. Now I see my line here. So I'm going to imagine just as the words are ending, it's going to swell up. So I'm going to have to make one control point is like the pivot. The next one is where it's going to swell up, the full volume. Okay? And then it's going to be that way again for about a second. And I'm looking up here where I am, so I can see that that's actually more like 2 seconds. 2 seconds is okay. Second and a half, 2 seconds, maybe that range. And then I'm going to bring it back down again. Something like that. And now there, I'm going to cut it. Now I have a few choices of the way I could do that. I'm going to put my cursor there. I could just start dragging and deleting. Yes. I could do that, but I can also use the cut button. Oops. Yeah, sorry, that's the wrong one. It's the letter I as the shortcut, if I remember. Oops. Let me just stop there for a second. Sorry, I was just fumbling for my shortcut. So I've got my cursor there, my regular selection tool where I want to make a cut. I could go up here to the menu, remove special, split, cut, but clip boundary split is going to be what I really want to do. Clip boundary split. That would mean that now this over here is like a separate whole clip, and I can put my cursor in there and select all that with a double click, hit delete, and it is all gone now. I want to make sure I don't have anything else out there, because if there's a little bit out there, it's going to show up as track when I make my mix and render. And that would be the next step. When you're sure you have it all right, you do your mix and render to jam it all together, and then you export the MP3. Of course, that's what you put on Moodle. And of course, every time after you export, you should go listen to what you made just to make sure it's what you want. One last thing. You've heard me say, and you may see in the instructions or hear around someplace, the idea of a sound donut. What does that mean? Where's the donut? Okay, here, take a look. See how, imagine we took a donut and we sliced it in half. We looked at the profile. We would see like the round part of the donut there, and then a little bit, and then the round part of the donut there. That's kind of the idea, is a bulge and another bulge connected by a slim thing. So it's sort of like a cut donut. For better or worse, that's sort of what it is. Okay, that's the end of that project. That same technique using the envelope tool can be used in lots of ways to gain control over the volume of audio over time. And actually, we will use an envelope tool again in the future with video as an option too.